During the past few days, at least 7 persons have been shot or killed.
Bishop Calvin Woods can't take much more. When it comes to violence in Birmingham, he's talking to the entire city.
Do something!
Yes, sir.
He calls it an escalating problem. It has been for years. For others, it all boils down to one day.
August 7, 2006.
Wanda Erskine's 23-year-old son, George, gunned down. His killer still on the loose.
November 22nd, 2003.
That's when Carolyn Johnson lost her son, 20-year-old Rodriguez, by random gunfire.
That's my baby.
It's sad for these mothers who, years later, still see the same senseless acts claiming lives.
It's hard for me to listen to the news. It really is. It's very hard because every time I hear that another child or someone else has been killed, it just keeps opening up my wound.
It's what the SCLC wants to change. It's proposing extensive, sincere prayers, community activism, love rallies, and even extensive gun buyback programs. These kinds of ideas have mothers like Johnson and Erskine optimistic for the future.
The mayor, the city council, the Jefferson County, everybody needs to get involved because we're losing too many of our children.
Sometimes all it takes is a smile and a wave.
You know, someone may be having a bad day, and just to get a smile or a wave, it cheers your day up. It just totally changed your attitude.
Not many people would actually do that for anybody.
The best part about the job when I wave and they wave back.
That's something felt by Helena drivers. Every single
Right.
one.
I pick up sometimes 4 and 5 bags of trash that be thrown out on the highway.
76-year-old Zodi McCall spends every Tuesday and Friday picking up this, a few of these, and sometimes these.
I found $1,000 was in an envelope and the name was on it, so I gave it to my boss man. I told him, and so I told him, you know, he could find the owner, give it back to him, so he did find the owner.
It's not always a glamorous job, but you've never met somebody so happy to be at work.
When I get up in the morning, the first thing I get on my knees, I get a Lord thankful for blessing me to see another day and carry me through another day.
Serving people in Helena has always been a part of Zodi's life. In 1972, he was sworn in as a Helena police officer, the first African-American officer, to be exact.
It just made me feel good to know that I made history, because it was history. Just what I'm supposed to be.
He traded fighting crime for a gator and garbage bags, not just helping the city, but the people who live there.
When I go through a hard time, I see him, he recognizes my car and he's just waving and I blow my horn.
I love them and they love me. And they show, you know, love toward me, and I show, and I will do that the rest of my life.
This mother was heartbroken Tuesday after realizing police were taking her 2 children. It started when police received a call of a child at a gas station, all alone. When police arrived, they searched for nearly an hour trying to find the parents, but no luck.
Later, the father arrived, stated that he was the father, and the baby must have gotten out of the house.
The father says the child somehow got out of the house, about a block away, and walked to the gas station. When officers arrived at the house, they found another child about 7 months old. Now, because of the children's condition, police called DHR.
The conditions of their diapers, they hadn't been changed in quite a while. They had waste inside their diapers, which officers had to change here on the scene.
This happened every day. This goes on every day.
Dora Etheridge lives next door. She says the house is a disaster.
If they go in that house, they would say that's a bad environment. The house is filthy.
She says the children are constantly by themselves.
He leaves them in the house by themselves. How you gonna leave children if you're going somewhere? How you gonna leave children in the house by themselves instead of taking them with you? What if the house catch fire and you cross the street?
As for the well-being, Etheridge says she wasn't surprised to hear how the children were found. The children are now in the custody of DHR.
Wes Neighbors is like a lot of red-blooded Alabama men.
We live and breathe football, and we live in the best state to do that.
It's in the blood. Wes's dad, Billy, was an All-American lineman for Bear Bryant's first national title team at Alabama in 1961.
Billy Neighbors jumps through there and makes a real fine play.
25 years later, Wes was an All-SEC center for the Crimson Tide in 1986.
When you can run, you're naturally strong, and then you love contact, and that seems to be the case with all of us.
So no surprise that Wes's two sons, Wesley on the left, Connor on the right, were stars at Huntsville High School. In 2008, Wesley was one of the top safeties in the country. He signed with, who else? Alabama.
Even when he was younger, he was good, but he wasn't great. And all of a sudden, it's like somebody turned on the switch and they said, who's that? Is that Wesley?
But in 2010, there were no major offers for Connor, who broke with family tradition and walked on at LSU.
Go, Connor. Bring your feet.
Number 43 is a redshirt freshman fullback.
Coming down here, not knowing anybody, and playing for a different school, I guess you say I was the black sheep.
Just like God took care of Connor. Sent him to LSU, and it's been a fun ride.
Fun, except when Alabama plays LSU.
The last two games for my wife and I that Alabama and LSU played have been horrible. They have been. It's really a struggle. Of course, you don't want your son to lose anytime.
Last season, Wesley was a two-time Special Teams Player of the Week, despite playing with a chronic foot injury. That injury would force him to give up football. This year, he's a student assistant coach.
I love to play football, but the circumstance I'm in, this is as good as it gets, and it's still fun. It's a different perspective of the game, but when that kickoff comes on, I still get tingles down my spine.
Connor is 2-0 against Wesley, but it hasn't affected their relationship. They posed for a Kodak moment after last year's game, and on Halloween, they swapped team colors.
He's always going to be my brother, no matter what I do or what he does. So, there's no point burning bridges over a game, even though it's the biggest game of our lives.
That 60 minutes, we may be competitors, but afterwards, we're still brothers. We love each other, and that's just the way it's going to be. It's the way it's always been.
Monday, one son will add to the Neighbors ring collection, which stands at 2 national championships and 5 SEC titles. But one son will lose.
After the game, there's going to be one of my sons going to be devastated, one's going to be happy. So, I'm practicing my speech for the one that's going to lose. I don't want to say anything, the one's going to win, right? I'm glad it's Alabama and LSU playing. And they're going to get to experience it. Now, I guess 50 years ago, my father played in the Sugar Bowl, and for them to be both playing, that's cool.